I want to share a story of how I unlearned toxic masculinity, traditional beauty standards, and insecurity through my hair. Ano daw? Ha? Mukhang OA at pilit, but you will never see it that way if you don't acknowledge how intersectionality radically shapes our personal story. Specifically, how my gender, social class, nationality, and genes, which influence my hair type, play into the picture. Yes, subject dito ang buhok ko, but it's much more bigger than that. Allow me to explain. Hi, I am Andrew Beso, and my YouTube channel is all about the words, thoughts, and stories that I share, creative work, opinion pieces, and personal narratives or my experiences, and how four topics could interplay in one of these things that I share. So ang kwentong kulot na to, anong connect doon sa mga big words sa pinagsasabi ko? You find it hard to believe because we have different set of characteristics or identity markers that makes us have different experiences in our lives. And how these specific characteristics interplay with one another completely changes the story itself. Well, I used to hate my hair. Back in my elementary days, ako yung tinatawag na Jose Rizal. Well, more than because ako yung lagi pambato sa mga declamation pieces tuwing buwan ng wika, yung one-sided hair ko before, may tukwas dito sa gilid, parang kay Jose Rizal na mismo. At kahit anong suklay ang gawin ko, hindi talaga siya mawala-wala. Kahit anong haircut ang request ko sa barbero, kahit gano'ng karaming gel pa ang ilalagay ko, hindi talaga mawala-wala yung nakakainis sa tikwas na yon kahit ilang suklay pa ang gawin ko. At ewan ko bang mga barbero, napakagalit sa buhok, babawasan at babawasan na lang buhok mo, pero hindi nila matanggal yung awkward na tikwas dun sa gilid. So ito yung rough drawing niya, ano itsura ko. Di ba montang ah? And I complained about it over and over again, pero wala namang makapagbigay solution. So ang suggestion na lang ng mama ko, palitan mo na lang hairstyle mo, as in brush up na lang, as in suklay mo na ganun para wala nang hassle. And for the longest time, ganun ang ginawa ko. My late elementary years up to high school, ganun lang yung hairstyle ko. I was sporting an afro-like brush up hair. There's no room for styling on that end. I wish I could have explored a different hairstyle back then, pero in mga 2000s, mga panahon na yon, mga 10 to 15 years ago, wala naman talagang kulot na leading men na talagang sikat. Siguro ang naisip ko lang siguro si Jericho Rosales and that's it. Wala nang iba. Ngayon lang ata naging uso at naging sikat ang mga kulot na artista. So wala akong model na pwedeng paggayahan ng buhok. Kahit tingnan nyo ba sa mga barbershop, yung mga poster na nakalagay sa mga barbershop, ano maitsura ng mga lalaki doon? Lahat straight ang buhok. At men with white and Eurocentric features. Trust me, ang mga barbero hindi nila alam paano i-handle ang kulot. Ang alam lang nila, tabas, 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 at okay na yon. At kahit yung mga model ng shampoo, if hindi man puro babae, meron namang lalaki pero straight ang buhok. Kaya umabot sa point na mas prefer ko nila magpagupit sa parlor. At hiyang-hiya ako doon before. Galing ako isang Catholic school at merong mga haircut requirement doon na kailangan well-groomed ka lagi. At pa nagtatanungan ng mga classmates ko, oh, saan ka nagpagupit? Kay Brando doon sa kanto. Brando sa sang barbershop 'yun. Hindi barbershop, kay Mama Brando. Things like hair care or any personal care na pwedeng gawin mo is always perceived as a very feminine thing to do. Men, with the exception of physical fitness, aren't really expected to take care of their health, hair and skincare included. It's as if our masculinity will automatically be reduced if we start taking care of important aspects of our health. So personal grooming and hygiene is a bad thing. Pero have you seen how my hair would look like if I don't apply the right product for my hair type? Promise, mukha siyang bulb. At naalala ko nung college days, hindi ko alam paano i-handle yung buhok ko, lalo na pag lumalago na siya as in mahaba na siya. That is mainly the reason why I always wear a cap, I always wear a bonnet kahit tag-init. And secretly, there was a period in my college life na patago kong pinaplansya araw-araw ang buhok ko para mag-conform sa isang image ng isang maayos na itsura. And we all know how repeated ironing could damage our hair. And maybe the ultimate proof that I was obsessively trying to fit into the traditional standard of beauty is nung nagpariband ako. Yes, naging ganito ang buhok ko before. Yan yung mga panahong uso ang K-pop at ganito yung lagi yung mga itsura ng buhok ng mga lalaki. I've always considered kulot is not attractive, kulot is not ideal, kulot ay salot. But later on after graduating and I started working, this is where I realized na meron palang different set of product na kailangan mong gamitin for a curly hair type like mine. And I've been missing this out for the entire 20 years of my life. Now, that's a quick story, but let's quickly examine what happened. How the intersectionality of my different characteristics resulted in me having internalized oppression. The intersection of my different characteristics, my gender being cis-male, my being Filipino na moreno, and ang pagiging kulot ko, it heavily influenced my desire to fit into the traditional standard of beauty while trying to fit into the toxic masculine framework. It's not a coincidence that in media, dark-skinned people are always perceived as unattractive. Ang mga before and after looks ng mga babaeng pangit na gumanda, ay nagsimula sa kulot at maitim to someone na straight ang buhok at naging maputi. Ang mga comic relief characters ay usually mga kulot at mga maiitim na tao. And in most cases, these are all women. Now, how will the narrative change if we retain the same characteristics pero palitan natin ang isa doon, which is switch the woman into a guy. A guy who is not really expected to really take care of himself. That's because things like beauty, sensitivity, and care are traditionally viewed as feminine. And being rough, rugged, at wapakal sa itsura, yun naman yung mga indicator sa isang tunay na lalaki. As what you can notice kung babalikan natin yung story ko, there was a big shift when I started working, when I can afford to buy these personal products na kailangan para sa buhok ko. Because back then, nung bata pa ako, my family wouldn't really accommodate my hair type and buy a different set of products. Hindi pa nga ganun ka-common yung appreciation sa kulot na buhok. Not in a way na very appreciated siya nowadays. Parang biglang naging uso, di ba? Pero the critical shift was when I started to afford these products na kailangan ko. Meron pala mga different set of products na importante para ma-maintain mo yung healthy na kulot mo, mga personal items like blower or specific types of scalp massager para sa buhok mo. And buti na nga ngayon, meron na mga ganong available sa market, pero dati as in wala. Hindi ganong kasikat yung mga products for curly hair. That is because the media has always marketed a specific type of beauty alone. And if you don't fit in that profile, you're not a priority consumer. And because of my social mobility and me becoming open-minded, this is where I started to embrace my identity, different aspects of my identity, and understood how it interplayed with one another. So anong mapupulot nyo sa maikling kwentong kulot na to? We have different set of characteristics, and some characteristics are operating in a binary of how one is preferred over the other. Like for example, white is perceived to be more attractive than the rest of the races, or how men are perceived to be stronger and powerful than women, and how that specific characteristic runs in conflict with how personal hygiene or personal care are seen to be things that only women should do. This kind of conflicting interaction of different characteristics shapes our personal narratives, and we need to catch ourselves na baka you're suffering from internalized oppression already because you're trying to fit into what the world perceives as the ideal characteristic, the ideal look, the ideal personality trait. But only when you start embracing this different set of characteristics and acknowledging that they interplay with one another, that is when you start working on yourself, on trying to become more happy and confident with who you are. There are a lot of social structures and barriers that makes it difficult for certain people, but at the very least, if you're happy and confident with yourself, you've already made the first step in becoming a better person. Thank you for watching. This has always been one of my projects in this YouTube channel. If I could share a personal story, but infuse it with social issues, infuse it with, creative storytelling, then maybe I could have entertained and educated you at the same time. And check the comment section below. May mga important links doon ako nilagay doon na relevant sa story na to. Mga supplementary readings, supplementary videos, or any other social media posts na gusto kong i-share about this. This is one aspect of my YouTube channel. There's always an additional thing to share in every content that I produce. If you felt that way, then I hope you can like and subscribe to this video. I'll be creating more videos like this soon. And if you have suggestions of content, you can always message me on my socials. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. It's Andrew Beso Shares, and you can see more content there. Thank you. Bye.